Welcome to the Difficult Question Podcast. I'm Bob Howard. The Difficult Question is a podcast about opinions, and it's where every opinion matters. It's where we have some of the most healthiest conversations around some of the most complex topics. Our topic for today is very complex. Is the independent woman destroying the American family? Now, that's a complex topic. Joining us for the discussion, we've got Kim from Maryland, we've got Sandy from Florida, we have Emiliana from St. Louis, Missouri, we have Will, Chantel, and Mark, all from the Detroit metropolitan area. So listen up, let us know what you think, because we know that you have an opinion too. Okay, all right. So today's question, like I said, is very, very complex. It's a great question, and it's a great a question for discussion, right? The question is the independent woman destroying America? I mean, the American family, not America, but the American family, right? Families have actually, they've undergone a lot of changes, and I'm going to say the last 50 years. You went from Lucy and Ricky, I Love Lucy, like sleeping in separate beds on TV, and now, the women a lot of women have become head of the household. It's just how it is. Mark, quick question. Explain to me the difference between an independent woman and a working woman.
Okay, if I had to define a working woman is a woman that has a job, of course, a woman that's involved in her family and things like that. An independent, and she's working for her family, toward her family. To me, the way I take an independent woman is a woman who feels like she doesn't need anybody. She feels like she has an attitude like, I don't need a man, I don't need this. And therefore, to me, I feel like everybody needs somebody. But you have some women out there feel like they don't need nobody, and that to me is destroying the American family.
Wow. So does this independent woman have a family?
Some do, some may not. A lot of them might put off having a family until later, and then at that particular point, it may or may not be too late. To have a family with the type of guy they want. Then the standards for a guy as an independent woman, it might be way too high.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Anybody want to jump in on that one?
Well, yeah.
Go
ahead. When you're talking about an independent woman, I think an independent woman can be a woman who has a family. And then when you're talking about an independent woman that doesn't have a family, if she's someone that acts like she doesn't need anyone, you need to understand the reasons behind that. There are some women who have tried to depend on other people, such as a man, and that hasn't worked for her. So a lot of times when you're talking about a woman who has that attitude, if you look behind the veil, it's actually a defense mechanism because she has been let down, and now her defense is, I don't need anybody. But in actuality, if you asked her if that is something that she wants, a lot of times she would say yes. But because she hasn't been able to do that, her defense is, I don't need anybody.
But if she's got that attitude already, there's a bunch of women out there that just got that attitude. They feel like they want to be the man. It is. There are. I agree with Mark on that.
There are a lot of women.
I don't believe that. I believe that it has a lot to do with the woman's experience. And that's why that attitude shows up a lot of times, depending on who the woman is. Women in this country is not a monolith. So every woman's experience is not the same. So you have to look at the woman that you're talking about.
Let me give an example of an independent woman that I personally know. She has her own house. She did have a kid from earlier with a guy, so she had a family. But then she said if she met a guy, wanted to be with a guy, she would not give up anything like her house or nothing. When you go into a marriage or something, it's a joining together. But she wanted to keep hers separate over here because she felt like because maybe of her experiences that, hey, I might not want to give up everything. But man, we give up a lot too. We give up. I mean, we have a lot of scars too for women. People don't understand. We both do. But you can't just sit up here and say that, hey, I don't need a man. I don't do this. And then at the end of the day, you want a dog man because a lot of men not going to deal with that attitude. Will, I want to ask you a question. Yeah. Since you know, right there, would you deal with an attitude of a woman who feel like, hey, you know, pretty much put you off to the side whenever she feels like it? There's too many other women that won't do that.
The thing about that is, it's like, you know, as like you said, Mark, we scarred and we're hurt. And as men, like, I feel like we're not allowed to be emotional. Like, women don't approach us and think about our emotional health.
I agree.
And, it's like, if you don't make me feel appreciated as a man, like if you make, as a man, I firmly believe that a man's role is to protect and provide. If you take one of those away from me, you're kind of shooting at my manhood. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you telling me you don't need me to provide for you don't need me to protect you, you know, like, you don't need me, you know, you're really kind of killing my spirit as a man.
So let me ask.
This is a thing that and I'm going to speak to the Black experience, because a lot of what you're talking about has a lot to do with Black women and Black men. Our experiences are very similar, and what we need to do is understand each other, and that is missing in our communications with each other.
I agree that, you know, it is, and, you know, our similarities are the same. I think once we get past you know, women do more, you know, women do more of this than men, or men do more of this than women, we'll realize that, you know,
let me ask, hold on, because you guys, you guys have kind of like, I want to ask Emiliana, I want to ask Chantel, Sandy, you guys haven't said much. I want to ask you guys, if a man made less money than you, how would that make you feel? Would that make you feel superior to him?
I can speak directly to that, because I have been in my field and I do make pretty good money. And my ex-husband did make less money than me. And I never diminished him or, you know, pulled out my wallet in front of him or anything like that. I let a man be a man. That, you know, that wasn't our issue, but
a lot of women don't.
Huh?
A lot of women don't.
Right. And I mean, I actually have been on a date with a guy, you know, I was dating him and he didn't have money, and we were leaving and I put the money in his hands so that he could pay. That's just something. That's why I say I'm a little different. I'm with Will.
That make you feel weak. That makes you feel weak.
I wouldn't do that.
That makes you feel weak.
It does.
I would feel weak.
It diminishes you.
That's no.
I would feel weak.
At that moment, if I'm paying, I don't want him to feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather give him the opportunity to manage that in front of the world.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a woman paying. There's nothing wrong with a woman paying.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong.
Me myself, I wouldn't have a problem with a woman paying.
At a particular time,
the problem is
feeling some type of way. But what my point is, I'm saying is that I work in a very male-dominated area. I often have to fight to be seen and heard as a woman in my field, but I don't let that envelope into my relationships, because I do want a man to lead. I do want the man to be the head of the household. And just like Kim said, don't get me wrong, they have let me down, but that doesn't mean I've given up on them. But in the answer to the question, has women in the workforce caused issues? I do believe that, because I've been a working woman for a long time. And when I had my kids, I wanted to stay home. But money-wise, I couldn't do it. So I think, and it's nothing to do with their dad or anything. It was just that financially couldn't do it. Now, if I had a man that could afford for me to stay home, would I have stayed home? Probably not, because I like working.
Okay, let me go to Chantel. Chantel, if a man made less money than you, right, and it could be $1 more, would you feel superior to that man?
No, for me, I see as we're equals. Whenever I go out on a date with a man, it's 50-50. You pay for the food, we go to a movie theater, I'll pay for that stuff there. It goes back and forth. I mean, I make really good money for myself. I'm satisfied, I'm situated, I have my own house and my car. I'm good. So I feel like in a relationship, everything should be.
So my question to you would be, how would you feel if a man made nowhere near the money that you made? And he wanted to actually add to. See, there you go right now. You're shaking your head like, oh no. See, that's what we're talking about.
As long as he's trying, he's working, and he's not, I don't want to say like not working at McDonald's, but he's actually trying to be something, make something.
But I worked at McDonald's. I worked at a dollar store. I mean, but sometimes,
was the quality of the women less? Mark, when you worked at I want to know about
already.
Hold on. When you worked at the dollar store, how many was the quality of women you got less? I'm just trying to ask.
I've never had problem with women no matter where I worked at.
So women,
I never had that. That's not the issue.
I'm gonna tell you something. You're lying, because if a woman woman ain't gonna tell they friends that my man work at the dollar store. That just ain't happening. That's just not going to happen.
I'm supposed to take the woman that's working at the dollar store. Give me a break. I mean, but like I said, a lot of women, you want a man that has everything, and we're supposed to take a woman that has literally nothing, and sometimes has baggage, which are kids. But we're supposed to accept that.
I need to hear from
you. For women, we want to actually help build a man. We want to help fix a man. That's always how women are. It's not a good thing usually, but
now they want to tell us what to do.
Yeah.
Now they want to tell us what to do.
Yeah.
Now they want to tell us what to do. I need to hear from Emiliano. Hold on.
I see a guy that was in that fixing road. I see him, and the girl, she makes more money than him. She treats him like crap. This is my own personal, what I see. She treats him like crap.
That could be individual, though. That could be individual, though. He might like to be dominated.
Yeah.
Emiliano, hold on.
But I'm going to tell you, I'm having a problem with. This is what I'm having a problem with. When you're asking the question about, is an independent or working woman destroying the American family? Why is all the ills of the American family being put directly? Why is it only being put on the woman?
Emiliana is shaking her head to that. I haven't heard. I want to hear from everybody. So let her address that for me, please.
Yeah, let me jump in. A couple of things. I guess I'm going to go off of what Kim was saying here. I'm going to say something that's going to seem not related. There was an incident in a museum, right? An incident in a museum that a group of people witnessed, right? And after the incident, half the people were kind of summarized and told a boy knocked over a vase, and half the people were told a vase was knocked over and fell, right? That changed the way that the people who witnessed the event remember it, because it placed different emphasis. So half the people who were told the boy knocked over the vase remember some little kid running around, being crazy, being irresponsible, knocking over the vase. The other half of the people are like, I don't even really remember what happened. I just remember the vase fell. So it's changing the way that we remember it because of the emphasis of the question. If you had asked, what are the challenges of the American family? Would any of us in this group have jumped up and the first thing we said, an independent woman?
But women's attitudes are changing. The women's attitudes are changing. Women's feel.
Go ahead.
Sure, and that might come into the conversation, but there would have been a lot
Exactly.
because what are the challenges to the
Hold on. Will.
I'm
Go ahead.
tell
Let her
you
finish.
something. The societal values is the biggest culprit of what's happening to the destruction of the American family.
So I agree with that. I agree with that.
We don't value the family, the American family in this country. We value money. We value big homes. We value cars. Those are the things that we really value in this country. We don't value the family.
I also feel that, like, with today's society, I mean, honestly, it takes two to, reach certain goals. So,
Exactly.
I really can't, fault a woman who works or a woman that's independent, because like I told Mark yesterday, what man really wants a woman with nothing, especially at a certain age?
Women expect us to take them with nothing. They don't want to take us with nothing.
That's not true.
Hold on.
That's not true.
Emiliana, what were you going to say?
I'm going to say it takes more than two. I guess if we're getting back to the question, is like the independent woman ruining the American family? Let's go back to the history of families. Why are American families 2 parents and kids and that's it? Historically,
Exactly.
we're successful families. They're extended networks of kin. They're extended networks where people can play multiple roles. So if parents are out of the home, there are grandparents, there are different people. And how many people of your generation, like the older generation, have had that experience where they've had other family members who are involved, probably more so than even my generation. Younger generations begin to get into that narrower nuclear family. But how many of you had grandparents involved, had different aunts and uncles and family members that were involved in raising you? That contributes to the success of the family. And that also allows for people to play different roles. So if the mom is out of the house working, and she can do that.
Who's taking care of the kids? If the mom is out of the house, who's taking care of the kids?
Nobody.
If the mom's out of the house, who's taking care of the kids? Who's taking care of the kids? I need to know who's taking care of these kids.
There are many reasons why women have to work. Some have to work because of necessity. They have to work.
I believe it's good. Nothing wrong with that.
I'm going to tell you something. I can speak to my own experience. I was a single parent. But was I really a single parent because I had my brothers, I had my mother, I had other people that were there helping me to raise my son, and my son turned out great. So
that's unique.
The extended family, just like she's saying, is very important when it comes to the American.
But now you got the extended family. But like I say, going back to the question, which is the independent woman, which is more the independent attitude. It's not the woman itself; it's the attitude.
Yeah, but how many of those women are out there? How many independent?
Quite a few. Quite a few.
This said, those women evolve. Most women don't wake up in the morning and be like, I want to do this by myself. Most of them don't.
Because of that attitude, nobody wants to be bothered with them.
Hold on one second.
Well, you have to understand that why the attitude is there. There's a lot of hurt.
There's a lot of hurt with me too. Do you realize when I was growing up, I had women tell me I didn't have the money. I didn't have the money that they wanted. I didn't have everything that they wanted. So they went on to find guys that have that, right? I was hurt as well.
Mark, you just said earlier. He just said earlier he didn't have a problem with that. You just said when you worked at the dollar store, you never had the problem. Anyway, Chantel had a point. Chantel, you were going to say something. What were you going to say?
Yeah, okay, well, the thing is, we see women. Women, they do the shopping, they do the cleaning, they take care of the children, they do the bathing, the feeding, everything. What exactly does the man do? I know the man, they're important, but the thing is, wait a minute. Men, their responsibilities with the family, they are starting.
That's that independent woman.
A man, like I said, a man's main role is.
Am I wrong? Like women, we have so many responsibilities. We are running around like a chicken with our head cut off. But what about men?
But you know what? People don't. You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. When you go home,
answer her question. Answer her question.
When you turn that light switch on and it come on, he provide. Then he's doing his job. She got the money.
She says she making the money. You got to answer her question. She just laid you out big time.
When she take a man that's at a lower standard to her, she shook her head like, I don't think so.
No, she didn't say that. But I'm gonna tell you something.
That's all she said.
She might have just. That was a little bit of a knockout. Let's go. Answer her question. What was your question? What do men do? They gotta do. Yeah, they gotta do the baby. They gotta make money. They gotta.
The man is making the money. The man is helping with the child. I help with my kids. What man don't help with their kids? Give me a break. What man don't help? I raised my son.
Man doesn't help.
I was a single parent. I was a single parent with my son. I was a single parent with my son. So anybody here can talk about that. Now, I was reverse roles. I raised my son. I got my son when he was like 1 year old.
Typically,
and I raised him all the way up to where he is now.
Typically, the woman changes the diapers. Typically, the woman feeds the child.
No,
Typically,
we didn't change diapers. I changed them. Will, did you change diapers?
I just said it. I changed diapers. I fed the kids.
Yeah, we did all that. Oh, we did. We do everything but breastfeed. We do everything but
You're an
breastfeed.
exception because you raise your child by yourself, but
Exactly.
women, we
Exactly.
do everything.
We do. We help.
I want to hear from Will. I know what Mark gonna say. Will, what did you do when you were? She said, "What do men do?" What do you do, Will?
I've changed. I've been grocery shopping.
Yeah.
I'm very instrumental in my kids' life. I mean, I do understand. It's like I tell my wife all the time, and she hates it. But you're the house manager. I'm sorry. Like, my mind doesn't work to know to go that we need tissue, we need toothpaste. Like, so I will give Chantel credit for that. Like, yeah, y'all roles in the household are a little more, but I'm very helpful. I'm very helpful around the house, and I feel like most men who are in the household are.
They are. I go shopping.
I agree. I mean, it's not like they sitting there holding their junk, watching us walk around.
No, we not. We would.
And, I might help you out on Tuesday. I might.
The more modern men are, I would say so. But some of the old heads, that's what they did. They would be like, "Baby, bring me a beer."
Yeah, for me, I look at a man for myself as a man that would help with the house. If I want a new room redone, he can do it. That's what I would look for. Not just a guy. Like, he needs to help with the cooking, the cleaning too. It's not just me, because
man, we help with the cooking. I help with the cooking and cleaning. I cut the grass, I paint, I redo
everything. So,
I just did this.
Like, a lot of people are hurt. It sounds to me like a lot of people are hurt, right?
It sounds like it really does.
What's the challenge of the American family? That everybody is screwed up going into it.
Right.
That we've been hurt by our parents, that we've been partners.
We're all so stressed out. All stressed.
They have unrealistic expectations.
We come into a family, we carry all that hurt. So
That too.
he's like, well, I do all that stuff. So why are you saying I don't do that? That's like, why are you accusing me of this? But then for other women, it's like, well, I've been with people who don't do that. So it sounds like the challenges in the American family is the way that people have been hurt. And that changes how we interact with each other. I mean, we talk about it.
Exactly.
I talk about it all the time. Like, I'll say, I would agree with Chantel that I think women do maybe like multiple types of labor that men don't even realize are happening, right? Like, we do the physical labor of the house or whatever. We're also doing emotional labor. We're doing all these things, right? But then he'll come back and be like, well, there's all these things that like I experience that I feel like you're not even aware of, or you don't pay attention to, or it's always like, oh, men don't do this. So we're all hurt, and we all have like our perspective of the amount of effort that we have to put in that we feel is unappreciated by others, right?
Exactly.
So you're really forgetting, you're forgetting the natural aspect of it, right? And I'm sorry to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Women have breasts, right? The kids aren't supposed to drink like milk from a bottle. They're supposed to drink milk from breasts. Women have breasts because they're supposed to rear the child. Right? Women, they're designed naturally. They're designed naturally to take care of the child.
The babies.
But see, this is a problem that I have when you're talking the way that you're talking, and you're making it seem like the woman's role in rearing the children is more important than the men. Then when we say that,
no, the man goes out and hunts. If you go back to the natural, what is the natural?
Play a good point.
But when we start thinking that, and we say that the woman's role is more important, then you have a problem with that as well.
Let me ask you a question. Like if I took you today, put you on a desert island, right? If I took you today, everybody here, put you on a desert island, right? You and another and a man, right? If I put you on a desert island and you had a baby, how are you? Who's gonna rear that child? Who's gonna rear that child?
How long is a child?
The man is gonna go out and hunt.
What is child?
At the most 1 year.
All while they're children, they're not breastfeeding all while they're children. everybody, when it comes to
It's more
rearing
than-
children,
But Bob, I raised my son from 1
like
years
she
old.
was saying
From 1
earlier,
years old, I
I'm
raised my
talking
son.
about
It's
the
not just about
society
the man
has
and the
changed
woman,
who we
it's about
are.
the whole
Society has changed who we are. Society has changed who we are because if
That's what
back in
I'm
the day
saying.
when
Societal
everybody used to, everybody go out and work. You know, the man is stronger. The man is stronger because he's the
For a
one who
reason.
goes out, right? The man is stronger.
He's
That's
physically
right.
stronger.
That's so.
All right,
so
but Bob, we
It's
don't live in a
physically
world. We don't
right.
live in a world where you have to go out and like I don't know, go however many miles and bring back whatever and go out and work.
Exactly.
We live in a world with technology, so we live in a world with bottles, and we live in a world with whatever, and so that has allowed the freedom for the family dynamic to change. If women
Listen.
have, like Sandy said, she likes to work.
Listen.
She enjoys her job. It's interesting to her. So if we have the technology, the freedom, the time, the ability for the family dynamic to change, for people to be involved in different things, does that mean that women can't have interests? Women can't leave the home? Because that's no longer a physical necessity. We don't need that anymore. I'm not saying that, oh, women
yeah,
just
but
abandon your family.
society
but we-
Now
society
you're
could
trying to
go
say women
backwards.
can do it all.
But can
No,
we?
no, I think, okay, Bob,
Women can do it all. There we
let
go
me ask you
again.
this.
Women
Yeah,
can
go
do it
ahead.
all.
Are you,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm
Go,
sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Bob, so are you basically on the premise that if women were home more, things would be better? Is that what you're getting at?
So I'm saying society has created a situation where women have to work, right? And so
Right.
it's detrimental. It's caused harm to the family. It's caused this independent woman is like a newer thing because now women think they the man. That's what happens. Now women think they think they the
Yeah,
man.
they do. Yeah,
So
a lot of women feel
that's
like
what's
they're the man.
happening.
They want to run the. They want to run the relationship.
They want to run the
They wanna
relationship.
run everything.
If
Now they're trying to track you with what they got. I got a car.
See that when you say a blanket statement like that, that's wrong because you have to also look at the factors that are making it
Up to that.
possible that
I'm
a
into
woman has
science.
to work because
Science
it's different
says-
things. You have women who have had children who have been with men who said it wasn't me or he's not taking care of his child.
I'm going-
You have situations where he goes to jail. I mean, you have a lot of situations where a woman has to work or her children don't get
Okay,
fed.
I can
So in
understand.
that
I
case-
can understand. I can understand that
case-
one, but that's not by choice. But some women by choice do it. If you do it by choice, then you have
Well-
I have a problem with it. You have. If
Well,
you say
what
I'm
happens? What happens with a woman who has to work due to necessity? A lot of
Necessity.
times
There's
she
nothing wrong with
does-
necessity, but you have women that
listen
don't
to
do it
this.
because of
But
necessity.
listen to this. When you're talking about a lot of these women, I'm not saying all. When you're talking about a lot of these women, when they have had to go out and feed their children, and because then you get to a place where you want your children to have the best. The best life. You're working toward buying homes. You're working toward sending them to the best schools and all this other stuff. They are not going to allow a man or anyone that's going to come into that situation and mess it up.
Okay, here we
you
go.
will
Let me
get a
tell you
woman
this.
who says,
Now, let me
"I
give you
can
the
do this
reverse
on
to
my
that.
own."
Hold on, Bob. Hold on, Bob.
Yeah.
Let me give you the reverse to that. I was a single parent. I had to go to work. I had to go to football practice, basketball practice as a single parent. So you can't just say women do it. I done it. And
All
then
I know
I was
is-
able to make
all I know is-
myself
Like
in a
Chantel was
situation.
saying earlier,
I was
you
able
are
to
the
put myself-
exception. You are the exception and
I'm
not the
going
rule.
to say
I'm not,
this.
it's other guys out
I
there that
can't
do
get a
that.
word in.
So you can't. Well,
Hey,
it's not.
I can't get a word
it's
in.
not at the same rate as it is women. That's the issue. It's not at the
Right.
same rate. So there's a lot of women who are.
I
out there
agree it's
who
not
have
at the
had
same rate.
So can I say something?
But I invited a woman into
can I
with
say
me, and
something?
I still was making the money. I
Can I say
invited her in.
something?
I
Marcus,
didn't-
your
I didn't
sound
say
on.
when
You
she
can't
didn't
hear.
have
Can I
nothing
say
when she
something?
did.
Can
Shake
I
my
say
head.
something? Can I say something? Listen to this. I'm going in the basement. I'm going to lift weights. So guess what happened? I'm going to work and work overtime because guess what? That's what makes women is going to be attracted to, right? The real women, the independent
Women attracted
women.
more to. Women look at
Why are
guys
the
like what
men?
they
Why
have.
are the men saying what's attractive?
I'm going to get some muscles. I'm going to get some muscles, and guess what happened? I'm gonna make some extra money
Women
because
want
guess
to
what?
be treated well.
They want to be they want
Yes,
a
men.
man that can take care of them. They want a man
men.
that can take care of them. They want a man that can take care of them. Chantel, you telling me you don't want a man that can take care of you? Are you telling me you don't want a man?
A man could, but at the same time, I take care of myself. It's nice if, okay, so here's my favorite thing.
Here we go.
Men are like cake. Hey, Mark, I'm off you. Men are like cake. It's nice to have, but you don't need it.
Whoa, here we go. Here we go. You don't need a man.
Let's
So
say this.
I'm not saying that.
with that attitude that you got,
That's that attitude.
the men are going to pick
That's
up
the
on that attitude, and they're going
She's
to
an
treat you
independent woman.
according to that
She's an
attitude.
independent woman. You can't,
I'm
man.
gonna tell. If a woman thought, I may be older than, except for Sandy. I think we're around the same
Well, we
age. I
ain't-
may
we
be a
ain't-
little bit older than
we-
some of
it
the
don't
other
really-
ladies
the
on
age don't
on
matter.
the panel. But if a woman thought, trust me, women can take care of themselves because we work in all this other stuff. But if a woman really truly thought that she could sit back and have her man take care of her and be, in this life where my man is doing it for me, trust me, women would do that. But we're not in a situation in this country, in this day and time, where that is happening for a lot of women.
Now,
So
my
we
wife can
have
sit at
to-
home. My wife, I make enough money to take care of the household. She can sit at home.
Yeah,
Like
right.
that, she doing that for the ladies.
No. You got way too many
Kim was
toys. You got way too many toys. That is not true. You got way too many
Kim was
toys.
saying,
You
and I
got.
agree with her. If I had found a guy that was willing to take care of and be the man and do everything, if I find him tomorrow, I want that type of cocoon. But remember, just because I'm in a cocoon of my man taking care of me doesn't mean that I die.
So-
It doesn't mean, because if I stop doing things and being independent and my job is part of my brain, if I just cater to him all day, he's going to get bored with me and go to the next. So it's
now, do you-
important if you're in a
Is it-
relationship where your man is a leader, you have
but
to
you know
keep
what?
stimulating that relationship. And that includes doing things outside that household sometimes.
Now
So this-
we talking about okay. Any woman, they say any woman that can sit home, if she could sit home and let a man take care of her, she probably would, right? Now we're gonna ask a single independent woman up there. Yeah, I see you waving your hand already. Here we go. Now, what if a man wanted to come over there in your house and sit around and not do nothing while you work? Would you let that happen? Oh no!
No.
Oh.
You breaking down. What about the family? You're talking about two individuals. What about the family? What about the children? If children
She
comes
ain't
into
gonna have
the
no family. She
equation,
want no family when no man ain't got nothing. She gonna let him in the house.
Why are we talking also? I'll say this. We're talking as if this is like the main factor for being in a relationship with people. Why are we in a relationship with people? Because we like them, because we get along with them. And maybe if financial issues are like a huge thing, but like,
It is.
Are you going around the world and like looking and being like, doesn't have money, but I really like him. So
That has happened to me. Has it happened to you, Will?
But then I would say that those are less frequent. A lot of
me tell you.
That's more
a woman could love you. A woman could love you.
and then they have issues financially later.
No,
Whatever.
a woman could love you. A woman could love you, and y'all get along. And when she find out you ain't got no money, it's
She gone.
over.
Okay,
It's over.
No, that's not true.
$0.
It's
Justin
over.
had $0.
That's
It's
not true.
over.
Justin had $0.
Every-
not true.
Not at home for the rest of his life.
We
that's
supposed to take a
why.
woman with $0.
That's why I seen
Why would we
dudes.
take a woman with
you see a
$0?
dude. He 350. He got them bumps on the back of his neck. I seen a dude. I'm telling you. I seen a guy 350 pounds.
In relationships.
350 pounds, bold dreadlocks, bumps on the back of his neck, but he could afford what was that? The G-Wagon, which is over $100,000. And guess what? Get out of the car, got a good-looking woman, got the kids and all that because he could afford it, right? You know what I'm saying?
I remember back in the day, we had a guy named Larry. Larry was not a nice-looking guy, whatever. But one guy said he had change, and it changes everything.
Whoa.
I mean, you remember that.
Well, then you have to look at the women that's being led by that's being
A lot of women are.
that wants that kind of stuff. But
They want security.
This is,
Agree that it
yeah,
is.
women do want
Yeah,
security.
hold on. We ain't heard from Will in a while. Go ahead, Will. What you got to say?
I say, can we agree that it is women who are led by finances. They only see finances. They don't see looks. They don't see whether guy.
What are you talking about?
Shaking their head.
No, that's not true. That's not true. I've been with men who I've made more money than. No.
Especially since women are working, so we don't look like a guy that has money.
Like how getting in a relationship with a person is how much money they have. What is that?
I know. That's the only thing that we're
okay. Like
No.
you're taking out the
You
human
have a gold digger
of why we're in
queen.
relationships.
Not gold diggers.
Women want security.
women
nothing
want to
wrong with
be
women wanting
treated
security.
well.
To Justin because I thought he could provide me security. No, I got into relationship with Justin because we're humans. We got along. We had conversation. We had chemistry. We had attraction. You're taking the human element of relationship.
Can we agree that y'all might
So if Justin was broke the rest of his life, if Justin was broke the rest of it,
with him, yes.
The things that women
she didn't come from
hear,
Detroit.
And I'm going to say it just like that. That's our sex organ, our ears. Trust me. The things that we hear coming out of your mouth.
You hear cha-ching, it changes.
No. What I'm saying is the way that we're treated and cared for. These are the things that really get us going. Trust me. It's not about, we can only be attracted to what they look like when we see them. That's the only thing that we see. But once we hear you and you start talking to us and we start dealing with you, those are the things that really get us going.
I need to ask the fellas. Hey, hold on, Will. I want to ask you and Mark. Have you guys ever been judged by how much money you had?
All the time.
Daily.
All the time.
You're here
all the
around
time.
people.
Daily.
No, you know what? I can remember when I was going to school. You remember Kim at Bob? I was going to school. And I've had a woman tell me she wanted a man that was out of school making money already. While I was going to school, she wasn't willing to go there and struggle with me in order to go to the top. That's why, me and we'd rather have a woman that we could be living in a mansion today, living in a cardboard box tomorrow. She out there sweeping out the cardboard box. That's what we want. But unfortunately, it's hard to find them women.
All the way.
But those are the women that you've dealt with. That's not all women.
I can only speak from my own personal opinion. I can't speak from somebody else's opinion.
That don't pertain to all women.
But now that I make the money, we have some independent women out here. They chose to put their career first, whatever first, and they see what position I'm in now that I make the money. Now they're trying to take that man that makes that money away from a woman that was there to struggle. So and me myself, you understand what I'm saying? Now they want the guy because you're close to a finished product.
So we getting to the point where we got to get to where we got to start wrapping this up, right? And I'm gonna tell you, man, I think that Chantel, Emiliana, Kim, Sandy, I do think that they had more valid points than, and I've never done this before in a podcast, but I guess I got to. They had some valid points about the independent woman. In my head, I don't think there's enough independent women, so to speak. And from what I'm gathering from everybody, society has changed the way the family structure is, right, as a whole, right? So people, so what we're doing is literally reacting to what society is bringing us, right? So
exactly.
So I'm gonna tell you, this has been really, really. It's been fun. I didn't get it. I'm like, how y'all gonna take over? But anyway, so what we gonna do though? I would like to one last time from everybody, one last just a summation, right? So, what are your thoughts on the independent woman and the American family? Like, what are your thoughts? So we're going to start with Sandy. What are your thoughts really quickly, and then we'll wrap this up.
Well, personally, I just think that the woman can still be independent, but that family cocoon has to be structured so that it can be good for the kids, good for the wife, good for the husband. We can't, as Mark said in the beginning, we can't just function as a society and be like, well, I don't need nobody, because that's not true.
Right.
So I think we have to come to a happy consensus where we all can get something from that, and the men feel like men and women feel appreciated, very much like Kim said.
Okay. All right, Chantel.
For me, I feel women, we are allowed to do our own thing. We're allowed to be independent. And then it's just the fact, it depends on whoever your significant other is. You have to have that communication. Like how Will said that men, they feel like that they can't open up and they can be vulnerable. Well, communicate. That's perfectly fine. That's actually what women want. It's just, that's what's in the guy's head. Communicate, see what works for you guys, and try to do 50-50. Okay. Women are not the problem. It's communication that's the problem.
Okay. Emiliana?
I guess I'll go ahead and say what I said earlier, which is that if we want to talk about challenges to the American family, we could go on for hours and hours and hours and be tying all these things in that are interconnected, right? And so the emphasis on the independent women is just what happened to be this question, but that might not be the largest factor when we're talking about challenges posed to the American family.
Okay. Will?
I just want to say simply, I don't think the independent woman is destroying the American family. I think society is. Now, a woman has to work. A lot of cases, a woman has to work, whether you got a partner or not. So I don't want to blame the women. If we could go back to the 50s where the woman was the nurturer, the man was the provider, I don't think most men will even want to do that. So just to sum it up, I don't think it's the women. I think it's the society.
Until she starts to dominate you, then you'll think differently. But anyway,
now if you're a weak man, I don't care if you got money or not. If you're a weak man, you're a weak man.
That's right. I agree with that.
Man's not going to let a woman dominate.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another podcast. Hey, that's another podcast, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay. They had some valid, things over there that I was able to listen to, and it's good to hear the other side of the coin. It's good to hear the other side of where you guys are coming from, and you can hear where we coming from. Like I say, both of us, male and female, have been hurt. All of us have been hurt, and instead of fighting against each other, we need to actually come together, have these discussions, and that way we can actually, know what direction to go to. Because I understand some of your points, and I hope you understand some of mine. Thank you.
That's a very, very, very good speech. I got a tear. You ain't supposed to do that anyway, Kim.
Well, the independent woman, I know that the independent woman is not the reason for the downfall of the American family. I totally believe that. And I think that there are many factors why women are independent and have to be independent. Just like everybody is saying, societal values is the biggest culprit of what's going on in our society when it comes to the family. And I think that women and men need to start understanding each other when it comes to the hurts and the things that they've been through, because a lot of things that we've gone through are very similar. So we need to, just sit down like everybody is saying, talk to each other and just try to understand each other, basically.
Man, you wouldn't have thought that y'all was just yelling 5 minutes ago. That's awesome. So I got to tell you, this has been the most fun podcast to date. This is like a lot of fun and a lot of really, really good debate. I would ask everybody on this panel to come back. Will brought up something earlier. There could be a whole nother podcast. It makes for good debate. Just good topics to talk about. And I think you guys said something that was really important. If we talk about things, we can start to understand, right? So I'm going to say I greatly appreciate you coming on the difficult question. Well, I owe you a T-shirt. I got to get Emiliana. I got to get her T-shirt. Sandy, you guys, of course, Kim, get you a T-shirt with the difficult question on it. And I just want to say thank you. And please come again when the podcast goes up. Please share it as well. So thank you guys, and you have a good rest of your day.
Well, thank you. I really enjoyed it. Enjoy the dialogue, ladies.
Yeah, enjoyed it. All right.
If you'd like to join us on the Difficult Question podcast, send us an email to guest@thedifficultquestion.com.